published 1714 est, 3 December 2017, updated 2036 est, 3 December 2017. Malcolm Turnbull has enjoyed a poll boost as it's revealed Labour leader Bill Shorten visited the Sydney mansion of a Chinese tycoon despite warnings from ASIO. The Prime Minister's coalition team has posted a small recovery in newspoll, with its primary vote up 2 points to 36%, while Mr. Shorten's satisfaction rating has gone down. However, the government still trails Labour 53% to 47% after preferences, marking Mr. Turnbull's 24th consecutive newspoll loss. As Labour's Chinese donations saga deepens, Malcolm Turnbull enjoyed a small newspoll recovery, but it's still his 24th consecutive poll loss. Bill Shorten reportedly sought election funding from Chinese billionaire Huang Jiangmo when in March 2016 the opinion poll news came as the Sydney Morning Herald revealed Mr. Shorten had visited Chinese businessman Huang Jiangmo at his Sydney mansion, reportedly months after a warning from ASIO. The opposition leader and his family reportedly visited Mr. Huang's North Shore home at Ritzy Mossman in March last year to solicit funds for the Labour Party's 2016 campaign ads. The revelation comes with embattled Labour Senator Sam Dastyari embroiled in a scandal involving Mr. Huang and Chinese influence on Australian federal politicians. Mr. Shorten has not denied the visit, but pointed out to Fairfax that senior government figures including Mr. Turnbull, his Liberal deputy Julie Bishop and his predecessor Tony Abbott, had all socialised with Huang. Foreign donations to Australian political parties will be banned to prevent figures like Mr. Huang pictured influencing Australian politics with donations. Bill Shorten visited Chinese tycoon Huang Jiangmo at his Mossman mansion on Sydney's North Shore in March last year. Bill Shorten visited the Chinese billionaire's Mossman home after Labour's National Secretary George Wright was briefed by ASIO on his links to the Chinese Communist Party. Labour's National Secretary George Wright was briefed by the Australian Security Intelligence Organisation on Mr. Huang's ties to the Chinese Communist Party in October 2015. Fairfax Media said it was unclear whether the concerns were shared with the opposition leader before his visit. Mr. Shorten, whose satisfaction rating has slipped in the latest newspoll to 33%, was not personally briefed by ASIO on the issue until late 2016, long after the visit. Mr. Shorten's office stressed his home visit did not compromise Australia's national security and that Labour would no longer accept donations from Mr. Huang. It is unbelievable that Mr. Turnbull still refuses to do the same. Senator Dastyari relinquished his post as deputy opposition whip last week after he allegedly warned Mr. Huang his phone might be bugged by ASIO. Huang Jiangmo's former advisor Tim Zhu is working on Liberal candidate John Alexander's campaign team. Meanwhile, the Daily Telegraph says Mr. Huang's former advisor, Tim Zhu, has joined the Liberal campaign for John Alexander in the Bennelong by-election. Foreign donations to Australian political parties will be banned in the wake of Labour Senator Sam Dastyari's alleged leak to a Chinese businessman. New laws will also crack down on classified information leaks, and criminalise supporting foreign spy agencies. The government will introduce the legislation this week amid reports Bill Shorten sought election funding from Chinese billionaire Huang Jiangmo. Senator Dastyari was forced to resign as deputy opposition whip last week after he allegedly warned the same businessman his phone might be bugged by ASIO. The new laws would make it a criminal offence to support foreign intelligence agencies in the same way as helping terrorist organisations, the Sydney Morning Herald said. A U.S.-style register of foreign agents would be set up to help prevent political interference in Australian politics. Disclosing classified or other harmful information would be criminalised, along with cover to deceptive activities that, while not espionage, interferes with Australia's democratic process. The reforms followed Attorney General George Brandis' review of foreign interference, which he said was a problem of the highest order and it is getting worse. Labour leader Bill Shorten pointed out Huang Jiangmo's link to Liberal deputy Julie Bishop. The opposition leader dined with Mr. Huang, who has links to the Chinese Communist Party, in his Sydney mansion in May 2016. He was there to ask for donations for the federal election last July, sources told the Sydney Morning Herald. Mr. Shorten did not deny meeting the controversial tycoon at his Mossman home, but did not answer questions about why he was there. His visit came after ALP National Secretary George Wright, along with representatives from the Liberal and Nationals, were briefed in October 2015 by ASIO about Chinese interference in Australian politics using cash donations. ASIO Director General Duncan Lewis told them the agency was concerned about Mr. Huang's connections to the Communist Party. It was not clear whether Mr. Wright told Mr. Shorten the contents of the briefing, and the opposition leader didn't have his own until late 2016. The new laws introduced by Attorney General George Brandis will also crack down on classified information leaks, and criminalize supporting foreign spy agency. Mr. Huang, pictured left with Senator Dastyari Center, has links to the Chinese Communist Party, and ASIO was concerned about his ability to influence Australian politics with donations. A spokesman for Mr. Shorten said both Malcolm Turnbull and Foreign Minister Julie Bishop had also met with Mr. Huang. Both said they had never visited the businessman's home, but Mr. Turnbull met him at an event, and Mr. Shorten and Trade Minister Andrew Robb attended his daughter's wedding last January. Mr. Shorten's office stressed his March 2015 visit with Mr. Huang did not compromise Australia's national security. Since the ASIO briefing, Labor accepted $141,000 in donations from Mr. Huang, the Liberal Party $122,960, and the Nationals $15,000. Liberal candidate for Bennelong, John Alexander, has also been dragged into the scandal with revelations Mr. Huang's until recently aide Tim Zhu is working for him. Mr. Alexander is contesting a by-election against former NSW Premier Christina Keneally on November 13 after he had to resign over his dual citizenship. Mr. Zhu was close confidant and translator to Mr. Huang, who can't speak English, until he resigned in August and joined Mr. Alexander's campaign. He was seen handing out how-to-vote cards in the heavily Chinese suburb of Eastwood, Sydney, wearing a John Alexander t-shirt alongside volunteers. John Alexander campaigning with Malcolm Turnbull as he contests a by-election on November 13 after he had to resign over his dual citizenship. Mr. Zhu was also one of 4 people in the meeting where Senator Dastyari cut ties with Mr. Huang and warned him about possible surveillance. He was the witness in the room as Huang's interpreter, one of 2 sources confirming his presence told the Daily Telegraph. Senator Dastyari allegedly told Mr. Huang they should leave their phones inside when they met at the donor's Mossman mansion in October last year. The meeting was less than a month after he stepped down as Consumer Affairs spokesman and manager of opposition business in the Senate. His parliamentary fall from grace followed revelations had allowed Mr. Huang to pay a personal debt and taken a pro-China stance on the South China Sea, at odds with Labour's position. Senator Dastyari previously said he only incorrectly mumbled an answer backing Beijing's controversial policy when asked by Chinese reporters. But the embattled Labour senator was forced to walk the plank again last week after audio emerged which made his remarks appear prepared and scripted. Mr. Huang with former Prime Minister Julia Gillard and Senator Dastyari allegedly told Mr. Huang they should leave their phones inside when they met at Mr. Huang's Mossman mansion in October last year. However, Senator Dastyari still denied any wrongdoing or leaking of classified material to Mr. Huang at his meeting or at any other time. After the events of last year, I spoke to Mr. Huang to tell him that I did not think it was appropriate that we have future contact, he said. I thought it was a matter of common courtesy to say this face-to-face. He insisted he was never briefed by any security agency, or received any classified information. I reject any assertion that I did anything other than put to Mr. Huang gossip being spread by journalists, he said. He repeated this in his resignation speech, saying, I've never passed on intelligence information. I've never been in possession of any. August 2013 Sam Dastyari elected to the Senate to replace Matt Thistlethwaite, who quit to run for a lower house seat. 2015 ASIO cautions Labour and the Liberals against taking donations from 2 businessmen Huang Zhangmo and Dr. Chao Chak-wing, suspected of being conduits to the Chinese Communist Party. June 2016 Dastyari defends China's actions in the South China Sea during a press conference to Chinese journalists, attended by Huang. The Chinese integrity of its borders is a matter for China, he said, contradicting Labour policy outlined by its then defense spokesman just days Earlier, details of the press conference were revealed in September 2016, at which time Dastyari said he had only incorrectly mumbled an answer to a question he should not have taken. August 31, 2016 government documents reveal the top education institute, a Chinese higher education provider, paid Dastyari $1,670.82 excess travel bill. Dastyari admits in Parliament he should have paid the bill himself. September 5, 2016 new details emerge that Dastyari failed to declare 2 bottles of wine worth $700 given by big Chinese donors. September 6, 2016 Shorten tells off his junior senator but will not sack him. Dastyari bumbles through a 26-minute press conference where he admits he was wrong to have a Chinese donor pay outstanding bills. He remains defiant that he did not provide political favors in return for the payments. September 7, 2016 quits Labour shadow ministry and role as manager of opposition business in the Senate. October 2016 met with Huang at the businessman's Sydney mansion and reportedly told him they should leave their phones inside while they spoke outside, as a counter-surveillance measure. Warned him his phone may be tapped. February 2017 appointed deputy opposition whip in the Senate. June 2017 ABC's Four Corners reports Dastyari lobbied for Huang to secure Australian citizenship. He says such efforts were part of his job and his office had dealt with hundreds of citizenship matters since he was elected. November 28, 2017 Fairfax reports on the October 2016 meeting with Huang. Full audio of the June 2016 press conference emerges, contradicting the senator's September 2016 explanation. November 29, 2017 Bill Shorten tells Dastyari he must resign senior parliamentary positions, including as deputy opposition whip in the Senate. Dastyari says he is shocked the audio does not match his recollection of what he said at the press conference, source AAP.